Okay, so I'm officially starting the Jlab sheets now. Today we're going to start with Jlab00, which is essentially just an introductory Jlab to get you used to actually writing Java program. So the question we're faced with in the first Jlab is write a program that will read in two numbers from the keyboard and add them together. So a program that takes in two different numbers that you, the user, will enter and then add the two numbers and display the results. Pretty simple. Okay, so we'll go to our Java folder, Java reusable files. We'll copy the two of these. Okay, Jlabs, and in here we'll have a new folder and we'll call it Jlab00. Okay, paste these two in, rename template to Jlab00, and we're ready to go. Okay, show tips on startup. No, I'm sick of them tips. Okay, date. It's now the 7th since it's past midnight. 7th of the 11th, 2010. Jlab00. Purpose. This program will read into user defined numbers and add them. Okay, pretty easy stuff. Jlab00. Okay, so code goes here. Right, let's start. So programming is all about logical thinking. If you can think logically, you're away with it. So for the moment, let's think logically. What variables do we need for the program? Now, it's always good to at the start think in your head what you need. Later on down the line in the program, you might realize you need another variable, but for the moment we'll just put what we know for definite we need. Okay, so for the moment I'll put down I know I definitely need two variables to store the numbers. Okay, so int number 1 semicolon. And also, I'm going to comment it because, as I said, it's good practice to comment, so I'll try and utilize good coding practice by commenting the main parts. So, int number 1, this stores the first user number. Okay? Int number 2, semicolon, this stores the second user number. Okay, grand. Now, what we're going to need to do is, again, logically thinking, we're going to have to ask the user to enter the number and then get them to do it. Ask them to enter the second number and get them to do it. Okay, so ask user to input their numbers. Okay, system.out.print. Now, before anyone says anything, in the basic input-output, I was saying use system.out.println. Now, you can also use system.out.print. The difference between them is .println will do as if you're pressing the enter key. It'll go to the next line to enter your number. But I personally think it looks tidier if you keep the number on the same line. But you'll see it when we run it in the console window exactly what I mean. So system.out.print, please enter the first number. Okay, that's that part. Next, we're going to have number 1 is equal to input.readInt. Don't forget how to input things. Look back on the third introductory video if you can't remember. Right, so that's how we're going to ask and get the user to enter the first number. Now, it's going to be pretty much the same, so I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to be a bit lazy. Copy and paste. Okay, change a couple of keywords. Second number and number 2. Okay, so that's both of those being entered and taken in by the console. Right, next think what we have to do. We have to find a way to get the answer. Okay? So first of all, it's going to be, we're adding the two numbers, so it's going to be a new number. So first of all, let's think what we're going to do. So calculate the answer. Okay, there's our little comment. Now we know to calculate the answer, it's number 1 plus number 2. Simple enough, right? Now this isn't good enough to work because we need a variable to store the number. Okay? So first we're going to go back up to where we're initializing our variables. We'll say int answer and leave it like that. And now comment it. This stores the answer. Okay? So then simply we just have to then initialize it, get our number down here. So all we do is answer is equal to number 1 plus number 2. And that's it. That takes our two numbers, it adds them, and it stores it in the variable answer. The final part then is simply display the answer. So system.out.println. Now this time I will use println because at the end of the console, at the very end of your program, the Java IDE automatically prints a line saying press enter to continue. Now if I was to put print, it would give me the following string and straight after it say please press enter to continue. With println it will force that press enter to continue onto the next line. Okay, so bear with me, you'll see it in a second in action anyway. So oops, the answer is, then we use concatenation or just adding one to another plus answer, and that's it. That's our whole Java code written out with comments. Okay, then finally all we have to do is test it. So we're going to build it. Okay, it takes a little bit longer to build on the first time. We see down here process completed. That's it, no problems whatsoever. Then finally, last part is to run. Please enter the first number, let's say 10. Please enter the second number, let's say 12. The answer is 22. The answer is right, and then it says press any key to continue. Sorry, I thought it said press enter. Press any key. And that's it. Program is working. You can further test it if you like. You can try it with different numbers just to make sure it is consistent. You can use things like minus numbers. Minus 12. Second number 20. The answer is 8. Press any key to continue. And you can do anything like that. As I said, keep on testing it, but this one is fairly straightforward. It doesn't need much testing. It's just simply the addition of two numbers. Okay? So that's our first Java program written. This is the introductory Jlab. If you can get this working, good on you. Mess around with the code if you want. You can, change it around to, instead of adding numbers, it can subtract numbers, multiply numbers, divide numbers. Okay? And then we'll start with some more difficult coding, I suppose you could call it, in the next Jlab.